this out, Joe. You don't seem like much of a hobbyist to me. You play a little Switch. You talk to me once a week. But, I guess you want to know, how do you start a new hobby?
Yeah.
First, you get that free code from Phil to get a WoW month, and then that's your hobby for the rest of your life.
And then you get addicted.
Yeah.
He's like, don't listen to those Jehovah's Witnesses that are knocking on your door. You just need this WoW card.
Joe, Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult, but the Mormons are your neighbors. Come on, brother. Let's play some WoW together.
Oh, man.
Hey, you know what? We'd have people show up for the monthly game night to play WoW with you.
Yeah.
Phil would show up.
I'd show up.
The Wise and Nerdy Guild.
The show becomes WoW and Nerdy.
Now you're talking.
Oh, man.
You use your Patreon money for your subscription. Bam, bing bong, pays for itself.
Bing bong.
So,
and then you stream it, right? And then people give you bits, and now you're making money off of your money. It's called investing, Joe. Have you ever tried it?
Yeah, see, that's the problem, Joe. Phil and I don't do hobbies. We do careers.
Was WoW the game where they were having Chinese prisoners play it to gold farm and earn real money?
Doing it, Joe.
Allegedly.
Oh, man. But no, like, when you're starting a hobby, how do you go about it? Like, you're interested in it. What do you do? Nothing.
Get more specific. I mean,
okay,
nothing.
no, Joe, I got you.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So invest time over money. Step 1, invest time over money. So I have a lot of musical instruments inside this house, right? And I'm always looking to pick up new ones. So once I decide that I want to teach myself to play a new instrument, it's time over money. So I will even go out there and I will get a beginner's banjo, all right? Invest $50 into it. It's not going to sound great, right? But it's exactly what I need. I need just something that I can learn how to play this new thing, because I'm not going to be playing it in public. I'm not going to be playing it, on stream. I'm not going to be playing it anywhere. I'm playing it for myself because I want to learn how to do it. So then once I feel like I will get the basics under myself, that's when I start investing a little bit of my time in like different playing styles and different, why does this one have an open back versus I'll start autistically deep diving for 2 weeks on this new topic. And that's how I do it, right? I don't want to spend, $2,000 on a banjo and then after 2 weeks not want to play the banjo no more, right?
Yeah.
So and it goes with anything like content creation as well, right? It's always better to put your time into something than money, because what ends up happening, like if I don't enjoy this new instrument, I know that I could always donate it to a Goodwill or to a local church, or even my kid's school does like fundraisers where you bring in things that you would sell at a yard sale and then they sell it and take the profits. So just kind of figure out what you want to do as a new hobby.
Well, because I love that advice, because I know in my life I have gone through stints of I'm really into this, and then I start doing it, and then maybe not so much, but then how much money have I invested into it, and things like that. So I think that's great advice. Of
stop talking about your kids that way.
Put in the time first, and then if you actually do end up liking it, then think about committing some money to it. I mean, even with like our podcasting stuff, our equipment, we didn't start off, at least I didn't start off with very good equipment at all. I just started off with a headset, and over time, as you know, we've been collectively doing this for like 40 years now, almost, or 35 between the three of us, and so we have upgraded our systems over and over again. I got better equipment, and we make better shows.
But also what I'll do, Joe, like, because more than just music playing, like cooking. Cooking is kind of a thing for me. I really enjoy cooking. It's a hobby. That is my love language. Like if I want to sit down and make you a meal, it's not just like I want to feed you. It's like, hey, I'm making you dinner for a reason, right? So for me to get into cooking, like I just let it consume my life, right? I didn't go out there and buy expensive knives right away or pans and stuff like that, man. But like, I wasn't joking around. Like I will deep dive any topic for a good 2 weeks, and that consumes my life. So like, I was watching cooking shows. I was reading Anthony Bourdain books. I was buying, Kindle versions of cookbooks, watching YouTube videos on different recipes, looking up different techniques and stuff like that. Like I will consume everything about me, podcasts, like to the point where my partner's like, please just go podcast, go away from me. Like I've heard it. Just go and talk to your friends who have also heard it too much, but at least they have the decency to smile. I can't even smile anymore, Philip. And no, I don't need homemade Crunchwrap Supremes, and I don't care if you got it off TikTok.
And that's just the clerk at Wawa saying this to you.
I think it's hilarious to use that example because my wife made us homemade Crunchwraps tonight for dinner.
That's what I did last night. Yeah, that's what I made last night. But yeah, man, just like find your thing, and it could be anything. Dennis, do you know what Dennis's hobby is?
Writing his books.
No,
going to conventions and selling stuff.
No, he paints.
Yeah, he sells his paintings at conventions.
He does now,
too.
but like that was his thing. He went to art school, right? He was a painter. He paints nerdy little landscapes, and
what he doesn't paint.
What he does to kind of decompress and kind of recenter himself and get everything out of his mind, and he's good at it. I mean, it's not great, but like, there's been a couple pieces that he's made. It's just like, I'm going to steal that when he's not looking. I'm going to steal that when he ain't looking. And I'll be like, Dennis, when that goes missing, it's at my house and my doors are locked and I have a gun. So good luck, brother.
Then why won't he finish that beautiful 3D printed Hulk he made me that he says he's got to paint? He won't paint it.
That is a different hobby. That is 3D printing.
But all he needs to do is paint it now. It's done.
Oh,
he showed it to me.
It's because he doesn't like you.
It's not even, he didn't even glue it together.
I didn't get a dinner from Phil. I don't get a painted Hulk. I don't get nothing. I get it. It's jib jab, no job.
I brought
no
you
job.
I brought you to the second best. I got you.
Yeah, I went to Sheets. I did go to Sheets. I'm not a hobbyist. Everything I do, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make money at it or how it fits into my speaking thing. You're talking about relaxing, decompressing. I mean, I drink a little bit of scotch and I smoke some cigars. But how many times, if you watch my TikTok, how many times you see that show up on TikTok? It's pretty often. You see, this show is brought to you by the Litter Scotch, every week type of deal. So even then, I don't know in my life what a hobby would be. I have zero desire to go walk a golf course or drive a golf cart. I have zero desire to go watch sports. I don't know what a hobby would be.
But whiskey and cigars is a hobby, right? You have specialty stores.
I mean, I'm not a sommelier, right? So,
no, but you do enjoy them, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like anything can kind of become a hobby. Like I work at a farm and a winery, right? So like people are winery people as a hobby, right? That's what they do on the weekend. They enjoy going to different wineries, tasting different wines, and going there. It's just, you got to kind of find your avenue. And it seems like right now, Joe, you're just trying and having a little bit of trouble finding your avenue.
Is there something you were thinking of, Joe? Is there some?
No. Well, I just thought it was a good conversation to have.
Fair enough.
In general.
I would have to side with Kelsey and say, first off, it's just dirt. You can sit on the beach and watch your kids. That's how you start with a hobby. Just sit there.
Sit there.
And then you get a little wet. It's okay. Just sit there. Do it for the kids. Do it for the kids.
But also, I mean, reading is also a hobby, dude. Like,
yes.
one of my old friends told me, Philip, there's two different hobbies: people who buy books and people who read books. And you are the first, brother. Like, you buy your books, you don't read them. And it's like, well, yeah, it's just not my hobby. But like reading books, book talk is a huge thing, right? A lot of the books that I read now have come off of book talk. Not all of them have been great, but when I'm buying them on the Kindle, it's like either it's on Kindle Unlimited, so it doesn't cost me a thing, or Kindle books are always like $10 or down. So You got to do a little soul searching, brother.
How many games do you have on your Steam that you haven't played, Joe?
Uh,
You don't
way
get
too
it.
many.
Just estimate exactly. So your hobby is collecting games, like a lot of people's. Bill collects games, movies, and books that he won't read, watch, or play.
No more, brother. I don't do it no more.
Really?
I stopped buying books, and I actually sold most of them to Second and Charles, and
okay.
I threw all my DVDs into a bin and brought them down to Second and Charles. The only thing I'm buying these days, well, it doesn't matter. They're collecting dust, and I'm not using them. Retro games is the only thing that's my hobby, right? Like,
sure.
I got all my retro Game Boy games just right here sitting with me. Also collecting dust, but I also play them on stream. So,
I mean, sometimes having a reason to do something helps out, right? Not just being a hobby, but I was there at your house, Phil, and walked down to the studio and saw all the different Nintendo and Super Nintendo and Game Boy games and stuff. And they were sitting there for the most part. But once you started doing retro streaming, it gave you a reason to dive back into the thing you loved.
Yeah, 100%. But also, Joe, like having a hobby, you don't even have to do it. I mean, baseball, right? I love baseball. Love it to death. I love watching the Phillies play every night, but also I go to minor league baseball games, right? Just because I love the atmosphere and I love watching baseball and I love eating hot dogs, and like I can do it all for $12 because little, minor A games are like $12 a piece. So like, it's not even, baseball is a big hobby, right? With 100 years of history behind it. So it's going to take you to really just sit down and try to think outside the box about something you could really get into, and nobody's going to be able to do it for you. It's something that you're going to have to figure out yourself.
I might say my hobby is consuming media. Like I love going to Screen Unseen just for the surprise of the film. We went last night, saw Slingshot. It's an okay film. It's very much lit like my studio right now, pure white and weird and off colors, but whatever. Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. It's an okay movie, but I love the adventure of the story, and I will watch some crappy TV shows and movies just to see where it's going to go. And the next tier down is I'll side screen a whole bunch of media that I would never just sit and watch, either playing my Xbox or working on things or whatever. Sometimes you already have a hobby that you don't maybe realize that you have.
Hear me out, Joe. All right, stay with me. This one's going to go. You're going to say no right away, but hear me out. Start brewing. Become a beer maker. Because
that I can market it, the only Mormon beer maker.
Well, I know there's
but
you don't drink, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So you could be a beer maker.
It's just about the process.
And give it, it's about the repetition in the process. And then you just give it to your friends who do drink beer every Dragon Con.
Every Dragon Con.
Just like you said, you're only 2 hours away. So like you drive down, you don't even have to ship it. And just become a brewer, man.
I've never tried this. I'm sorry if you go blind. Here you go.
Beer is adjacent to, that's what Jebediah is for, to try things. Beer is adjacent to moonshine. And you got two guys right here that will test your beer and your moonshine for you. We're not scared. My wife
put a lot of terrible things in my body, Joe.
Have y'all had?
Your beer's not going to do any damage.
I'll do my best to make it as close to Malort as I can, just for you, Charles.
Oh, come on, Joe. Why you gotta be saying?
Another hobby that Dennis has is he makes soda. He makes his own soda. Just using a jet. What do they call it? A jet stream.
Jet streams. Yeah.
He'll make his own syrup and then bring in different ingredients and kind of fine tune his recipe. And so he makes his own soda dough.
So. Yeah, he doesn't have a life though.